Yeah, I know what it is, man. Let's get straight to it.
So you just going back to your point, you're saying, well, what if the sex is whack?
Yeah, don't like what's wrong with giving it a test drive before you commit? You know what I
Ain't
mean?
nothing wrong. Well, I one thing I would point
Ain't no wrong with no test drive.
out is for you to be bad in bed as a woman, you have to severely be fucking up.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't understand. Like for a woman can't really be bad, or from my perspective, a woman can't really be bad in bed. Like it's you don't. I'm the one doing everything. Like you moving to what I'm doing. Like I'm the one flipping you around. I'm the one putting you in certain positions. The only thing that can make the intercourse terrible is if you just got that weak cooter. Like you ain't got no walls. It just ain't dripping. Like that's just the only thing. But outside of like you ain't gotta know how to do no fucking maneuvers or this, that, and the third. I'm gonna be nigga doing all the work anyway. So for it to be terrible, that just means you got weak. Yeah, like it's just not. Yeah, it's just not busting. Like regardless of that. Like it's not anything to do about experience. Like nobody niggas don't want a female with experience. I don't give a fuck about none of that. If it's tight, wet, and you know what I mean, then it's gonna be pretty decent to me because I'm gonna be the one doing all the work. Like you don't have to know how to do anything, girl. Like it's just if that cooter is booter, then yeah, then like you missing, like yeah, like
In some way. Like it's like I just can't imagine.
It happens.
It happens.
I
I've been
mean,
told
but it's so
stories.
mm,
like it's so easy to be good in bed.
right.
Not
Maybe that's
as a
because
woman.
most men just are really stoked to be there.
I think yeah, most men if they're getting like some pussy, they're
I can agree with that point too. Most guys are really just geeked to be there, but if you bad in bed, that just means a you rather doing way too much. Nah, not even at that point. Even if you're doing too much, like if that cooter is tooted and booted, and yeah, I mean, then it's gonna get the job done. But if it's just ain't no walls, ain't wet, then if you ain't got one of those two things or both of those things, then that's what makes it booty. That's what makes it boo hoo. Like outside of that, like I don't know what they mean, but by bad and bad, like are you? I don't give a fuck about what maneuvers you can get off. Like it's just about that feeling on my ear. Like, and I'm trying not to be provocative, obviously, but come on now, man. Like I'm not expecting no crazy ass tricks. I'm the one doing all the work. I'm the one manhandling your little ass or thick ass or whatever it may be. Like it's just whether or not that thing is thangin', man.
fuck yeah. But I think there's a higher performance burden on men, sexually speaking, than women. But
I think you can find out.
There's definitely a high performance burden on men because, I mean, men now our maneuvers now. I'm pretty sure that has a big role. Like if you're taking leadership in the situation, if you're being aggressive enough, being gentle enough, you know what I'm saying, doing all the thing, hitting the right spots, like all that shit matters when it comes to a guy. But for a female, it's just like your thing better just be thinging. That's all you gotta do. I don't give a fuck if you lay there. I'm gonna be the one flipping you around, hunching you over, arcing that back for you, doing this, that, and the third. Like, okay, that's one thing I'll give females do. Them females that know how to arc them backs, y'all is a blessing. Like y'all is a blessing. Let us carry on.
You know, before you actually have sex, you can find out if you have
Mm.
sexual chemistry. It's not just the actual genitals
How?
involved. Well, if you have chemistry looking at each other, holding hands, being around each other, if you have that connection emotionally, mentally,
That doesn't necessarily equate to sexual chemistry. Like sexual, no, like holding hands, like just because you make me, like that's more of like an intimate thing on a relationship level. That sexual chemistry is determined by the sex. I mean, I don't think, like, yeah, there's the sexual tension prior to it, but sexual tension doesn't necessarily equate to sexual chemistry.
like you can talk for hours and it feels like it's only been 2 minutes. There's so many factors.
Like what? You talking about talking for hours and shit? Like that's an intimate thing, bro, and that's nothing to do with sexual chemistry, bro. That's more of like relationship feelings thing type of ordeal. Like that's not. That's just whether or not you get off with the person. Like that has nothing to do with sexual chemistry. Like what?
That
Does it work
Yeah,
communicate.
like that's like saying you can figure out whether you're gonna have chemistry on that basketball court just by hanging out with your teammates prior to that. Like, no, bro. When we get on that court, you better know what you're doing. Like, no homo. That analogy was kind of sus, but let us carry on.
Other way,
That communicate connection,
That's
and
more
so
like,
you can find out before you actually have sex if you have chemistry.
could you find out if you have emotional chemistry by having sex?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say I'm 50-50 on that because I don't know actually. I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, excuse me, but can you find out whether you have sexual chemistry? Hold on, let me play it back. What did he say?
Could you find out if you have emotional chemistry by having sex?
I could say yes and no. Let me see how they answer this.
Yeah.
So
Wait, what?
Oh man, I can't be 50-50 about shit. I'm gonna go ahead on the limb and say no. I mean, maybe on the females end. So yeah, actually, yeah. I'll go ahead and say yeah.
you're saying is that you can kind of find out that you have sexual chemistry without having sex, which I'm dubious
Yes.
about. So
You can.
if I
And if it's like
just had sex
not
with a
that
woman,
great.
could I know if we had like communication chemistry?
you find out before you have sex.
No, I'm saying in my hypothetical situation,
No, you
could
find out if you have communication chemistry
By
before
communicating,
you have sex.
right?
Correct.
yeah. So you find out if you have sexual chemistry by having.
I see the picture he painted. This brother is smart. I see the picture he painted. Y'all ain't even hearing.
If you have communication chemistry
By
before
communicating,
you have sex.
right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you find out if you have sexual chemistry by having sex.
So why can't
This
you
brother just took me through the loop, man.
find out if you have chemistry from communication? Which
I believe he's a psychologist, so it's interesting to see his. It's interesting. It's about to be interesting to hear his perspectives.
you
It
have
doesn't
chemistry
work the
there,
same.
It's not the same thing.
then how am I have an amazing sex life and we saved it for marriage. And in fact,
Okay, I'm gonna assume that she's married. 'Cause I was gonna say that doesn't make sense, but I'm gonna assume that she's married and she lost her virginity after she got married, because that's the only way you could have saved it for marriage.
you can
But
spend the
she's
rest
not
of your
gonna.
life getting
She's
better
not
at
waiting
that.
until marriage.
I just wanted to mention.
I know, but you don't have to
um,
sleep.
What's up?
Okay.
What's up?
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I respect everyone's beliefs. As I mentioned, I'm not necessarily sex positive for myself, but I still think sex is great. I mean, I do love God, and that's why I'm waiting. But I mean, I would want to do
Minus
it.
the two.
Minus
Right.
the two.
I was about to say, so that means she's a virgin, but obviously not. But let us carry on.
I'm forgiven. I'm
Hey, I
forgiven.
mean, I'm all for celibacy, females. I mean, I think that's a good thing for females to be celibate, man. You can't be giving that sacred, I mean, that poo-tang to just anybody, man. You gotta save it for that hubby, man, because it's gonna mean 10 times more. Promise to God.
Indiscretions.
Yeah, but I do think sex is. I mean, I want to have sex. I think sex is good.
Good times. But
Yeah.
okay, just to go back to your point really quick. You're saying, what if the sex is whack? I don't think that's a thing that really guys think about.
It's hard to discuss this without being provocative. Like I'm trying to use boohoo, fucking Blue's Clues words and shit.
That's more. I
shouldn't have cussed this early in my video, but let us carry on.
think that's a thing chicks think about.
does. Like,
Bro, I've never been worried like, oh man, what if like the sex is, because
so
for
you'd
me,
be fine with the girl who just lays on her back the whole time.
Yes, because I'm gonna flip her up and around. Like I'm gonna show her the way. Like she's gonna move to my beat. Like you ain't gotta know what you're doing. Like just listen to listen to what my body's telling you to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like if that thing is thinging, then it's gonna thing.
but okay, if you know how to take leads sexually, then
Thank you.
like,
But how do you know that if you're a virgin too and no one taught you? It's like there's this idea that men just sort of are supposed to know what to do.
I think the idea
but
I mean, I think there's no to a point. I'm not gonna argue that point.
together.
But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that at least for me, I've never personally encountered like a girl has to fuck up to make the sex, like you have to intentionally try to make the sex bad
And
somehow.
you can learn.
Literally.
As you
Like-
Well,
go.
yeah, you can learn, but like I'm never thinking like, oh man, what if the sex is whack with her? Now I think women can think that. because women typically look to men to lead in the bedroom. But
Mhm.
like if you're a guy and you have some degree of sexual experience, you can take a girl who's never had sex and have great sex with her. But I don't think the reverse is necessarily the case. I don't think a lot of girls, I don't think want a guy who is sexually inexperienced, unless of course like you're waiting until marriage, you want a virgin, whatever. But like most women who are not waiting until marriage and are virgins want to have to teach a guy how to fuck them.
Certainly, one of the
No female really wants to teach a guy how to hit that properly. Like, no, guys prefer inexperienced women. Women prefer experienced men. For some, just because it's a leadership thing, she expects you to know what to do. And how you gonna know what to do if you ain't got no experience? You know what I mean? I mean, you might have that first hit that just hit, but you know what I mean? Typically, a nigga needs a couple rounds to know what he doing. Like, let's just be real.
things that's
Which
most
also correlates to the whole body count argument and why it's so different from men. I mean, females love a nigga that has experience that can just get in the bedroom and do what he got to do, as vice versa. I mean, I'm not gonna say niggas don't like a female that knows what she's doing in the bedroom, but I don't think that's really a deal breaker. Like, there's no difference for me for a female that's experienced and a female that's not experienced. I mean, I typically would prefer actually one that's not experienced because I want to be the one to show her how to get down with the get down. Yeah, I mean, it's different when you're the first guy that shows a woman how to do something. She's gonna remember you for that. You know what I'm saying? When there's other guys that have done it prior to you, then you're constantly you're constantly in comparison in her mind to whatever the fuck the last 50 niggas did, and that's not a good place to be.
attracted to
I'm not
women
saying it won't work. It might work. You know what I mean? It probably will work, and you know what I mean. But y'all get what I'm saying. Y'all get the gist.
is confidence. How do you have confidence in something you've never done before?
Mm.
Like,
Because you
Well,
grow
they-
that confidence with her.
confidence is
fake
the
it.
felt experience
They'll
of
just
success.
fake it, right? I mean,
Fake,
yeah,
fake
a guy,
confidence, your
I'm
first
sure a
sexual
guy
experience.
could do that.
Well, you do kind of have to
Yeah,
fake
a
it for a
guy,
while.
a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with that point. You do gotta fake that confidence if it's your first time as a guy. You gotta act like you know what you're doing. You gotta act like, you know what I'm saying? Because prior to that, you was probably talking dumb crazy. And now you gotta put your money where your mouth is. You know what I mean?
Has like confidence in like
You
every
don't think women
area.
can tell?
Yeah, of
Besides-
course they can.
They can,
That's
they can
exactly
tell
the
the difference
response I was
between
gonna
fake
give
confidence
to
and
her.
real confidence? You think that women can tell the difference?
I think the fake it till you make it thing would work.
Interesting.
But you were talking about a pillow princess, right?
I don't think like a guy would care.
Well, there's a lot of ways it could go wrong, though.
I mean,
Like-
I could tell a girl like, okay, I want you in this position. I could move you. Like,
Man, fuck telling her. You better put her in that position. Like, you gotta be assertive in that type of situation so she can really see and feel your dominance.
most chicks wouldn't want to like.
Like, females love to be dominated in the bedroom. You can't be all, oh, roll over here, do that. It's just bop, bop, bop. You got to lead them into these situations, especially if she's not experienced. She's not going to know what the fuck she's doing.
Do that for a guy. Like, okay, let me
Like,
teach
what
you how to
is it?
fuck me. Whereas, like,
What
I'd
if-
be fine teaching a girl how to fuck.
What if you put her in a doggy and then she's like this?
Oh, her arch is dog shit. Like, she doesn't know
That's
how to
when
arch.
you just put that forearm in that bop. Like, you got to, you know what I mean? Like, you got to assist her with that arch. And sometimes you got to be patient with that arch because it ain't going to come off the ripski.
Arch her back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Or-
guess that could be kind of.
Or
Bro, you
also,
child
like,
teach how.
what if she's
Push her down.
what if she's going like down on you and you just feel her teeth? Like that.
I
could
give
happen,
great
too.
blowjob instructionals. I can teach a girl how to give a good blowjob.
What if she doesn't get
Not
it?
by example, though. I don't. Not by example.
But that sounded kind of sus, but
I think in general,
I think, I don't know. Neck, that's one of them things where she's got to do it a couple of times. You talk it through it and she'll get it, but it ain't going to be perfect that first time. It's just not. And that's just something you got to accept. That's something I don't know. Sometimes I admire. Like, girl, you ain't did this before. You ain't no 304. Like, I can get down with the get down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let me teach you how to get down like I get down.
if you're hiring somebody for a position, it's
Not like I do that, obviously. Y'all know what the fuck I meant. It just sounded sus when I said it, so I had to clarify. I know y'all niggas be playing, snipping shit up on the internet.
like what's more attractive? Somebody who's like willing to learn or someone who already knows what to do?
Do you think women
Definitely
want to
willing
be
to
compared
learn.
by his past previous sexual partners?
I don't think either partner wants to be
Exactly.
compared to previous
So
partners.
it's not
but-
like, oh, I'm so glad you've slept with 50 women. Now you can do that with me. Like, no, I wouldn't. Most women would not want that.
Well, they wanted
No,
to.
but you can
I'd beg to differ. Most women want experience. It's not the fact she doesn't need to know how many people you slept with, or you could even lie and say that you were virgin your damn self. But she's gonna appreciate the fact that you know what the fuck you're doing and you take control. Like most women aren't gonna want a guy that's gonna get in that bedroom and shit. Let's do this. Should we do that? Or how's this feel? Or how's that? And most females want a nigga that can please them without them having to tell them how to please them.
you can gather sexual experience within the confines of a long-term relationship. People that have like this idea that the more sexual partners you have, the better in bed you are is erroneous, because I would say that
I mean, that's true to an extent, because ain't no way you can sleep with 100 females and you don't know at least one good maneuver. You don't know at least one good position. Like, come on, man. Like, I mean, you're not gonna be Pimp Daddy G or nothing, but like, you're gonna know more than the guy that hasn't had shit.
someone who's had maybe a handful of long-term relationships has probably had more sex than someone who's just like having one night
Okay, I could agree with that point.
stands here and there.
You're
So you're
I could definitely agree with that point. I should have let him finish.
having more sex. So I think you're going to be more experienced in
Correct.
that realm.
You get
so,
the quality and the quantity.
so this idea that a woman who's only had 1 or 2 or 3 sexual partners is going to be worse in the bedroom than a woman who's had 100 one-night stands, I don't think so at all. I think a woman who's had 1, 2, 3 long-term relationships and has had a lot of sex with those men. I mean, to be fair, she should be a virgin, but just
yeah,
saying.
and pushing that rhetoric doesn't really encourage the whole like gatekeep your body message to women. Because if you're saying men need to have that experience with other women,
I mean, that's not what he was doing though. He was making the point. He made the point earlier that niggas don't give a fuck about experience. Females do.
and well, guess what? Those other women are going to be increasing their body count. So
I don't
shouldn't be
think
pushing
so
that.
because I think it's different for women. Like women have way more risks.
Yeah, they do.
For like even a one night stand, like you can get pregnant, STDs. Like hello, like there's so many risks. And then of course, like even the smallest thing where it's like you'll never hear from the guy again, and you're doing
Right.
so much for like a stranger. Like if you're that horny, why can't you use a toy?
Okay, just bringing it back to Farha
I'm
here.
gonna go out on a limb and say Shuddy and the Blues a little sexually perverted.
Did I say your name right? Did I say it right this time? Okay. So just really quick on the
Just
hookup
a little
thing, and then
bit.
I have 1 or 2 super chats, and then we're going to wrap the show. Agree or disagree, and perhaps I can open this up to the rest of the panel. Who is more capable of being promiscuous, men or women?
Women.
I was about to say.
Women. Okay. I mean, so wouldn't that lend itself a bit to women have more control when it comes to hookup culture?
We already talked about this. Women are the gatekeepers of sex, but I was saying
Yeah.
men misrepresent their intentions. They misrepresent whether they're being exclusive to that woman, and that could lead the woman to kind of open up the gate under a false premise.
But do you think all women who are engaging in sex, it's always like going in with the intention of having a long-term relationship? I'm sure there's women that go out to parties, go out to clubs, and they're like, he's hot, hook up. Like, I don't think all women have sex in pursuit of a relationship necessarily.
Not all. Do you
I
think
agree with
most?
that. I think it's very
Most?
socially unacceptable to admit.
I could agree with most, just because females are intimately, not even intimately, but emotionally connected to their sexual partners to an extent, or begin to be.
that, but
When a guy can sleep with the bra he hates.
women will give sex
Goes down at the club,
yeah.
goes down at the bar,
when
goes
the
down
attraction
at
is
the
high
frat
enough.
party.
The woman will provide sex, even not under false pretenses.
And think about traveling too. Shit, it goes down when you're traveling, you know that there's no shot of anything long term. If you're doing fucking Euro rail pass in Europe, like people hook up when they're traveling. So
Well,
there's
that's
no expectation of long term there.
kind of what makes it safer. It's like, I think that a lot of men have this idea. Well, I think women have this idea that all men want sex, and that's true. But it's not the only thing that we want. And I think the converse is that men tend to have this idea that all women want a relationship. And I don't think that that's as true as the opposite. It's like women want a relationship just from the people that they want to have the relationship from. Like a lot of guys will lead with the relationship as if it's like, that's all a woman wants. That's the be all and end all of her like objectives here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's like two bell curves. Like there are definitely a lot of men who want relationships and there's a lot of women who want casual sex. I was more so talking about like the averages. In relation to the traveling thing, I don't think flings fall under the category of hookup culture because hookup culture pretty much means like emotionless sex. I think like if you travel and you're like on vacation for 2 weeks or a month, it's not a long-term relationship. But I think if there's emotions involved or it's like a romantic thing, that I don't think that puts under hookup culture.
I think it fall. I mean,
I think it definitely falls under hookup culture because it's not anything that's going to be long term. Like it's a fling. That's why you call it a fling. Like just because you like the person, just the fact that you don't end up being with the person would incorporate that would constitute to that being hookup culture.
I would think like if
Like,
you're
I'm pretty sure females like half of the guys that they sleep with that are a little more than one night stands, but aren't really a relationship. It still counts. It still would constitute the hookup culture.
in Mykonos or some place for 3 days and there's a guy and you fuck him, like that's hookup culture.
Indeed. All right, we about to go to this next video. I got a couple of clips for y'all, man. This one's gonna be a little less sexual, hopefully. I actually haven't even seen this. This one, I believe it's this one. No, it's not. That's the last video. Let's go to my bad, y'all. Psychologist. Here we go. All right, and let's get to it.
Well, I think
Another clip from the same video.
she would say that you should listen to Jimmy Eat World and My Chemical Romance. That's not really goth though.
Deftones, right?
Deftones.
I like Deftones.
You
But
gotta
I'm not a
listen-
goth girl.
Yeah, I think so. I think unanimously the panel can agree he should listen to Deftones if he wants to get women, right?
Yes,
Fuck.
I like Deftones now.
Okay. All right. So Zormance, she's asking, she's open to the marriage proposal. She said yes, but she wants some more info. How tall are you? And why are you chronically single? And then we have Doc Vanablis here. I disagree with the no flower brigade. If a man brings flowers on a first date, it is information about the man rather than the woman. The message is red rose, classy date, six pack, scrappy date. Nothing. Well, you get the picture. Not really a gift. Wait. So are you in favor of the flower? He's in favor of the
I'm a
flowers.
little confused.
He said he thinks it's
I'm about to skip ahead a
That's a
little
good
bit.
image.
Don't know what
Atlas,
this is
thank
about.
you. And then Eric, we're gonna do the Instagram review for this guy because Puffy Vegas, just for future reference, if you want us to do an Instagram review, you hit the threshold on YouTube, takes 30%. So pull that up. Right. Puffy Vegas here. He wants
I
the
guess here the ladies about to review his Instagram. Let's see what they talking about.
girls at the panel to. What did you want? You wanted a
My
rating.
brother got 600 followers,
Rating
following
on a
300
1 to
with
10 scale.
500
Scroll down.
posts.
All right, so that's Puffy Vegas.
Hold on.
I assume he
Hold on. Puffy Vegas seemed like he got the brows on him though. Hold on.
puffs and he lives in Vegas.
Hold on, my African brother. Hold on.
That's him with girls. Keep scrolling down. Okay.
Yeah, look at my brother trying to build up that social proof. He got the bras on him. He came to America and ain't know how to act with them white shorties, man. Look at him. I ain't mad at you playing your thing.
My dude, how many wives do you have? Okay, so keep scrolling down. All right. Okay. All right. Yep. That's a bunch of photos, blurry photos of.
I don't know why he's just posting like blurry photos of random females. I understand the ones where he's with them, but like, what are these like in the middle right here? What's going on?
Chicks. Okay.
I feel like it's the same woman, right?
looks
No, I think he's got.
No, them is different bras for sure.
Scroll back up just a little bit. Scroll back up. Okay, so stop there.
Yeah.
Look, he's the two on the right. That's him. That's Puffy Vegas. Really quick, 1 to 10. I assume
Two.
he's a 2. Okay.
5 average.
Yeah, like 4.
BMS, beyond my scale.
What is it? Like he's a 10 or he's
Beyond my scale. Can't compare. Just beyond.
so like in
We'll
the
get you some puffy Vegas then, shorty.
negative?
I'm
or-
No,
saying over
above,
a 10.
above.
Oh, he's
beyond.
He's
Yeah.
So
okay,
so
wow.
great, so
Okay,
great.
so brave. Okay, go ahead.
Probably a 3.
All right,
A 3.
I'm married. I don't rate other men.
fair enough.
I'll give him
Look at Shorty. She's a wife. Shorty right here, in the light peach and the black. She's a wife. I like that wife answer right there. If my Shorty was ever on one of these podcasts, this better how she be coming right there. I see why she got a ring on her finger, man. Give it up for Shorty.
a 2.
I got my sound effects buttons, man, but I ain't turning them on. But we gonna carry on. Oh, let me see. Is they on? Can I hear this? Oh well, let's see.
Okay, Orion, do you want to rate him?
I'm not going to rate him, but I would say that I think what he was going for with all those picks with the other girls is trying to cultivate social proof. I mean, one of the first things that you asked after you accepted the proposal was, well, why are you chronically single? I don't think that women generally want men that no other women want. And I think what he was trying to go for there is that there's lots of women that are in my life. Doesn't seem like
That's exactly. Oh, I forgot this brother was a psychologist. He broke that down perfect. That is exactly what he was going for, because females do not want a guy that no other man wants. Like, that was just a pure example of social proof. It wasn't the best example, but it was nonetheless an example of social proof, because for some reason women will pursue a guy that is being pursued by other women. Women like to follow the culture. Women like to follow the social norms, what other women got going on. Like, as you can see with the makeup industry, with the BBLs, with the lipos and the TDLs, whatever you want to call them. Women like to follow norms, man. Women like to follow what other women are doing. So if they see you getting them years, they gonna want to be one of the years. They gonna want to be that top year. You hear me?
really had the desired effect there.
Well, it
It's
didn't look.
funny, like that's actually an interesting thing, because women knowing that you get a plethora of women will cause them to be more interested in you. Like, we've all made those jokes about how females don't want a nigga until he's in a relationship, and then that's when they start to present themselves. When on the vice versa, men want the complete opposite of that. So it shows how truly different we are.
Look like a wholesome friend setting. It looked a bit more like, you know what I mean?
He was definitely going out, and I think the
Yeah.
idea was, I'm going out having a good time with all of these women, and you could
Yeah.
be the next one if you're like.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say that's a green flag. If it's like him and his female friends out at a restaurant, I think that's more of a green flag if you can maintain like healthy female friendships. But I think just taking pics with like random girls at a
Shawty with the glasses remind me of like Mia Khalifa.
club is less
Some
attractive.
guys do that, like where they try to like brag about how many women they get, so they seem more desirable.
Why does she have this cat paint on her face? Why does she come to the podcast looking like this? I'll never understand some of these broads, but hey, that's her own prerogative, right?
Especially the girls on the street in Vegas that you have to pay to take pictures with, because those
Oh,
those
that's
definitely
okay.
some of the pictures in
That's
his
so funny.
Instagram.
I don't
And
have
who
an
is?
opinion,
Never mind.
because I feel like if men have too many followers, then girls are like, oh, then that means like you're a hoe. You're just like sliding into everyone's DMs. And then if they don't have social media, then they're sus because they're so secretive. And then if they do this, then it's like, this sucks too. So I feel like each scenario has its pros and cons.
Well, I would say, given my 2 cents on his profile, dude, rather than show yourself with a bunch of women, try to cultivate a narrative with an emotionally compelling lifestyle that makes it seem like you do more than just go out and talk to
Indeed.
random women.
Is
On
my
the street.
Wi-Fi tweaking? Let me check this Wi-Fi real quick. Give me a second, y'all. My bad. Let me know in the chat, man. How? Give it a second. Give it a second. Give it a second. Give it a second. And we are back. All right. Let's see how this goes.
Street.
Hopscotch,
jump rope.
I don't know what there's to do in Vegas. Rock climbing, mountain climbing.
I'm from Las Vegas. There's a lot of.
Oh, he's back. Okay, let's get that one while we have it up. I'll retrigger it. Maybe saying chronically single is an exaggeration. I've been in 3 relationships over the past 10 years. First one just didn't work out. Second one wouldn't commit to marriage after 5 years. Third one was abusive. Girls don't swipe on me. I'm 5'7". by the way. Okay. He's 5'7". Is that a deal breaker?
I can be
you can say it.
shallow.
What's up?
I can be shallow.
You can be shallow. Okay.
That's what I was gonna ask her. So you're a hopeless
Shorty in the blue just got like dumb appeal.
romantic. You believe in just like
I am.
one
I
What is she, like Indian or like Arabic, something?
I am a hopeless romantic.
You know, brother like him before and shut it. You know what I mean? Let us carry on.
However, with still have some standards, just like you're not like giving it up to just anybody, right? So I also don't want to like just like be with a lifelong partner with just anybody, but like I realize like my age and everything. And for example, like, okay, so I passed for like way younger anyway, and it's not like that big of a deal. But the thing is like, of course, like if you ask somebody who's like a red pillar on this podcast, they'll be like, oh, she's 29, she's fucked. But it's like, you know, it depends on who you ask, and it also depends on like what type of man you're going for. It's not like as if, you know, I'm not sure if I'm interested in a guy like Andrew Tate, who you're gonna marry him and then he's gonna go and fuck other women in front of you. So
Okay, so you don't
like,
necessarily believe in just one. You believe there's like a pool of one. It's not like a soulmate thing.
no, I do. I believe in one forever partner. I'm not about that whole thing where there's like, oh no, like, you know, you have like multiple partners. Like I'm not for like that. I'm for monogamy.
I guess more so I meant like, let's say you had that chemistry with someone, but they were shorter, or do you think they couldn't be the one if
They
didn't?
could. They could. It's just a preference.
Yeah.
It's like it's just a preference. Just how like
Wait, how tall are you?
4'11".
And shorty 4'11". Ooh wee. It's like, no, let me shut my thirsty ass up. Let us carry on.
So how tall do you want the guy to be? Like ideally?
Usually I date like 6 foot and above, but I have dated guys that are 5'9". I made an exception.
Is it hard for you to be like sexually turned on by them if they're below 6 foot, or like what's the reasoning?
I guess I think I find it attractive. I personally find it attractive, but that's not what I go for immediately. There's like a whole range and list of things that I find attractive in a man, meaning like his personality obviously comes first.
I think like
Personality, values, you know, the whole package matters to an extent. But obviously, like if we're just talking about height, like of course I'm gonna say like my preference is like 5'11" and up, but does it mean that it's a deal breaker? No, of course
Because
not.
like I'm 5'7", so like someone that's like 6'2", 6'3", someone that's 5'6" is gonna be like the same difference to you.
I know, but they go for me. They love a short girl, so it's like mutual. It's
That's
not
true.
like it's not like I'm like, yo, like, you know.
Actually, there's a lot of like guys who are, you know, 6 foot that you're looking for. They don't want short girls because they say because when they have children with a short woman,
Shorty just over there with that little satanic necklace on her neck. Like, what she got going on? She got a whole bunch of stuff going on, man. But let's see what she's talking about.
then their child will be short.
I like short chicks, not gonna lie.
I didn't have that problem yet. Like
4'10", hook it up.
I don't think guys really think about that until it's too late. But that could be something that comes across a guy's mind, I guess. But I don't think guys necessarily go for tall women unless they have aspirations on them playing a sport or being a certain somebody, I guess.
guys,
Anybody know a
love-
dwarf, by the way?
4'11".
Does anybody?
guys love
Wait,
a
who's
short girl.
4'11"?
Me.
I
She's
know.
4'11".
I'm 4'11" too.
Like, damn.
Don't hate on
Yeah.
us. Be on our side.
But
He ain't got no juice. Like, that was the weakest little eyebrow crinkle ever. Like, come on, Brian. You gotta do better than that. I think his name is Brian. Forgive me if I got it wrong.
I mean, personally, I don't care as long as the guy is taller than me. He doesn't have to be 6 feet.
I'm sorry, Zormance. I'm gonna have to swoop, dude. You're 4'11". Will you marry me?
He got the weakest sauce ever, bruh. Like, this guy is smart when it comes to inner male and female dynamics, but he just ain't got no sauce, man.
Yeah.
Come on, Brian.
Sweet catch.
It's abusive already.
I thought you'd
No D1 babies for you.
All right, man. We're gonna go ahead and switch on to the last video. Hold on, let me read this chat. Well, that's a bullshit. But let me go ahead on and switch on to the last video. Boom bop bop bop. What's this video called? Let me see. Explains why. All right, and this video is also from the same episode, I believe. Let's get it.
Okay, so I had one of you guys in your messages, Alicia, right? You wrote in your messages, the love that exists in movies is real. I believe in finding my soulmate. I believe the right one is there for me, just a manifestation away.
Oh yeah. So I think I wrote like a rambling of random thoughts, but do you have any questions so I can
Mm.
talk more about it?
Yeah, so I mean, you mentioned soulmate.
Hmm.
You believe that the right one is there for me.
Yes.
The love that exists in movies is real.
I really believe in the one. I believe in like a soulmate connection, and I'm the type of person like I don't sleep around. I can be celibate for long periods of time, so
Mhm.
I really want to like find the one in the next couple of years. I have a time limit because I'm Indian and I come from a really strict family where they will, I don't know if I can say the word, but they would like,
Arranged
can I
marriage.
can I say kill? Or that's fine,
Del-
right? Okay,
They
well,
would-
they would kill me if I had OnlyFans. That's how strict my family is.
Oh,
Like they would murder me.
good times. Okay.
Looks like you got a pretty good family there.
But what you said you have a time limit. So are you? Would they also annihilate you if you didn't get married by the time you're
Yeah,
35? What?
Probably. Yeah.
No, they wouldn't.
They would. They would.
Really?
Yeah. Get my mom
You
on
said
the
you're
phone.
you said you're Indian?
I'm Indian.
Your
Yeah.
mom is gonna murder you.
Yeah, probably.
you
Or
don't-
just get you an arranged marriage.
Oh,
Like on
that's a little different
purpose.
than murder.
Well,
Right.
yeah. Something.
Okay,
Either one of the two.
it's okay. So either murder or arranged
Either
marriage.
murder or being disowned or being forced into a marriage. One of the three.
Would it be important to marry another Indian?
I don't think it's necessarily important to them at this point. They don't mind, but it is important for them to see their daughter have a good partner.
I would love to have you in my course, in my program. I have like my students messaging me every other week now saying, I'm engaged or I'm married. So my heart goes out to you.
I don't want any courses.
Oh shit. Okay, shots
Coaching
fired.
courses.
Shots fired. How
I
much
don't
do you
need any
charge for your
courses.
courses?
It's
consults or
the
whatever.
original price is $297, but you can get a special enrollment link through my free masterclass. I
All right,
also
let's get
feature
past the
some of my
promo.
students on my Facebook.
Sure.
Pour a lot of information. It's a process together, and we're
You said you don't have issues having long periods of celibacy.
No, I don't. But I mean,
How long have you been celibate?
Well, I didn't say I'm celibate right now. Just kidding.
Oh,
I am right now. I am
okay,
celibate
all
right
right.
now. But the point is, what
Yeah.
I'm saying is like I do kind of crave a partner, but I'm I'm a perfectionist, which comes with a lot of challenges when I see partners, and basically having too many options kind of
Mm.
fried my brain. And also, I'm very much a perfectionist in everything that I do. So I'm trying to tone down my masculinity because I am masculine. Like I'm
Shawty seems very feminine, so I don't know what she means by masculine. Maybe I'm wrong, but she seems fairly feminine from the naked eye.
very much a go-getter. I'm an aggressive type of girl.
Okay, so you're trying to tone down your masculinity.
that's
Mhm.
where you can already identify.
Do
that.
either of you have a comment on that? I know you've spoken on. I think you've spoken on this masculinity, femininity stuff.
Sure. I think that all men have masculinity and femininity, and all women have masculinity and femininity. And generally, what works in attraction is sexual polarity. You seem very feminine to me just from looking at you, but you certainly described some behaviors that are
Yeah.
traditionally associated with masculinity.
Well, I think okay, so I'm very much a go-getter in my career. I'm very out there. Like I do modeling, I do acting. I've been on social media for about 8 years, really successful with that. On top of that, I went to UCLA and I have a degree in political science and business. So I've kind of just been like go-getter, like a full rounder, like really like goes after my dreams, like
That's
dream
great.
chaser. But thing is that I still appreciate a man and I'm still willing to be, I'm not traditional at all, but I'm more of a moderate. I hope that makes sense.
I think so.
Yeah.
We can talk more about it.
So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents. But yeah, that's me.
I'm wondering though, you said that the love exists in the movies. I think it really depends on what movies we're talking about. Can you give me some examples of?
That's me just like romanticizing, you
Mhm,
know.
I see.
And I don't want to talk about
Oh,
astrology because
Hold on just a sec.
Mike Davis donated $200.
Thank you, Mike Davis.
I don't mean to make this personal, but only in this Western backward culture can a hippo have a roster. And these females who will shriek at Mike Davis were seconds away from bursting in laughter. So STFU. Sorry, just addressing the elephant in the room.
Yeah, damn. Them niggas in the chat do not be holding back on nobody. Let's see if Shorty can clap back.
Do you have that's obviously directed towards you. Do you have a response
He talking about that's obviously directed towards you. This nigga Brian's son.
to Mike Davis?
Okay.
He's the resident hater, by the way.
Okay.
Sorry, resident roast.
What's up with Shorty in the back with that little black baby? Like, is she part of the past? I mean, is she part of the panel? Like, is that Brian's little background Shorty? Like, somebody let me know. Like, is that his bitch? Like, she's in a lot of videos and she always just in the back.
Got
Do you
it.
have a response to Mike Davis?
I feel like I shouldn't really address this because you don't deserve attention. But anyway, yeah, I can have a roster. Thank you. You can be attractive no matter what size or weight you are.
There's a lot of brothers out here that want them a BBW. I ain't gonna lie, brothers is starving. And they gonna eat somehow, some way. You hear me? I ain't mad at you. Get it how you can.
So that's all I have to say.
Preach.
But I do have a roster. You can check my Tinder. I have over 1,000 matches.
Like, the fact that was a flex for her. You can check my Tinder. I have over 1,000 matches. Does she not understand that niggas just sit on Tinder and swipe right to literally everything, try to see how many possible matches they can get? Like, it's Tinder. Like, that's not. You see where these broad values are. Like, Tinder, really?
Goodbye.
You have over 1,000 matches on Tinder.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that even actually shows you how easy it is for women to find. I don't want to say mates or boyfriends, but how easy it is for them to gain sexual access, because that with 1,000 matches, I mean, hey, let me stop.
I mean, I think one thing though I would point out though is I think there's two different places that some men might put you. So
yeah,
it's not really a W for women to have a bunch of guys that want to fuck you.
Thank you.
The W is guys who are prepared to commit to you, who are prepared to be in a relationship with you, and who are prepared to marry you.
Yeah.
Because as a woman, it's pretty easy to find a guy to sleep with you, but
yeah, sure.
It's harder to find a guy who's prepared to commit to you and, as I said, be in a relationship and be married to you. Okay, moving on. Thank you, Mike Davis. Appreciate it. What were we talking? We were talking about the Disney movie.
Yeah, we were talking about feminine qualities and masculine qualities. Yeah, and I was talking about how like I want to be a little bit less masculine and focus more on being a little bit more feminine. That's
Did
what
you
I
get
was
that
gonna say.
feedback? Like, did
No
someone-
feedback from
I see.
anybody. It's like self-awareness. Too much self-awareness.
See, look, I can't decide if Shorty in the Blues a 304 or not, but if she's not, that's a little, yeah, that's a nice piece for a brother. That's assuming she's not a 304. But if I had to take a guess, I'd probably say she was, but she might not be. What do I know?
And perfectionism, because
because self-awareness is a very important attribute to have, especially when you're in a relationship.
Perfectionist.
What is the love that exists in movies? What does that look like to you?
Like cheesy romantic love.
So what would a guy do to fall into that category?
Honestly, I'm not like hugely materialistic person, but those little touches do make it kind of like a movie. You know what I mean? Like the gifts, the thoughtfulness, handwritten letters, roses, like it's just cutesy stuff. But I wouldn't call myself like the most materialistic girl in the world.
I have a question for you. You said like some of the cutesy stuff, handwritten letters, flowers, etc. At any, for example, and you're 29, at an earlier point in your life, did you ever have a guy ever do anything like that for you? Get you the flowers, kind of any romantic gestures?
I did.
Were you turned off by that?
No.
When you were younger?
Like I said, I was very focused on my career, and my entire high school career,
Mm.
I didn't even date or touch anybody. The first time that I even had my first kiss was, I think it was like 19 or 20. So before
Okay.
that, I was not like, the male species didn't exist to me,
Sure.
basically, because I was very focused on school, and my parents basically, I mean, they pretty much kept me in a jail cell and I wasn't allowed to do anything.
A jail cell.
Yes.
It sounds like you had a very strict upbringing.
I did.
I
Yeah.
have a question. So when did your parents feel like you should go pursue a relationship now? Because first you said they were wanting you to focus on school and career. When did they say, okay, it's time for you to get married?
They think now's the right time to do that. Like, on my timeline, they think that I should actually not.
All right, let's
You
skip
know.
ahead a little
He's
bit.
a Twitch streamer. Yo, stay safe. Thank you, man. By the way, guys, we're gonna have Stay Safe on the show on Tuesday. That's gonna be a good show. He's a fucking World of Warcraft Chad. Still playing Warlock, but okay. Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah,
Thank you, Stay Safe. Appreciate it, man.
They think that this is like a good time now, because for them it was always about like financial independence. It was always about like being.
I like how family oriented she is, though. It's a very good. It's a green flag when you see a family is really. I mean, a female is really family oriented, and her family plays a big part in her life.
On your own too.
So maybe I might be wrong about her. Maybe she's not a 304, but then again, what do I know?
It was always about like achieving. Like, I come from parents that are like they're very much into achieving your goals and like being a go-getter, being aggressive, like,
Right.
you
T-
know.
So it's kind of hard
Tegan?
to just switch. Like
Yeah.
they want you to focus on school and career, and then all of a sudden, switch your mentality and find the motivation and time to now pursue relationships. So I think they can give you a little grace, maybe.
Maybe, let's see, but probably not, because they move at a very fast pace, and
Mhm.
if they kind of decide something, then they want to like see the result, and that's kind of how it worked out for me. Like, in my life, like, everything has moved really fast,
Yeah.
for social media or for like getting into my dream school. Like, life moves fast. There's like basically no, like, there wasn't like
Yeah.
much of like a time lag.
Based on what I've seen, like I don't think you have a ton to work on. I think you are pretty like pleasant and feminine, and warm. So
All right,
Tegan,
all
you
right.
had something. Go ahead.
Yes. Do you think that your parents' relationship leads by a good example for what you're looking for? And
No,
Okay.
I don't think it does. That's not what I want, but I do love that they end up together all the time. Like, even after they've been divorced, that they're together now, and like it's a forever type of love, and there's like extreme loyalty. Those are like good things. Like, I can pick up the good from what they have, but there's also a lot of bad that I see, and I definitely don't want to like emulate that in my relationships.
I mean, there's good and bad in every relationship. As long as there's loyalty, longevity, and love, the 3 L's, I ain't mad at it.
Have your parents corralled any options for you, like in case you need that backup for arranged marriage? And also, do you think it's possible to find the one
Shorty in the White has just like not talked all 3 videos. Am I tripping?
via arranged marriage at all, or no? Because you can still have that romantic aspect. I'd say it's actually more likely you'll find someone with those traditional values who will court you through that marriage.
I'm not against arranged marriage necessarily, but honestly, if it's a right match, like the vibe's right, I don't think that it would feel weird. I don't think it would feel forceful, but I do think that that I would have to like date the person first, get to know them, but it would be, I mean, I'm open to that if it's the right match.
Did your parents have an arranged marriage?
They did. My parents had arranged
They
marriage,
did.
and it was, yeah.
See, sometimes arranged marriages actually turn out to benefit. I mean, I ain't gonna say too much, but my parents had an arranged marriage, and it's a pretty good relationship. I mean, they created a pretty good family. We're very family oriented. We're very traditional, and none of us are living degenerate lives. So sometimes that works out. I'm not saying I'm advocating for arranged marriages. Obviously, I'd probably advocate for people to find who they're looking for on their own, but they do work sometimes, man.
Anybody else here at the table, their parents had an arranged marriage?
Indian
Are you
Shorty,
Indian?
Lil Mia
Yeah.
Khalifa.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's enough of that, man. We've had enough of the whatever podcast for today, man. Go ahead, hit that sub button for your boy. Go ahead, subscribe to my channel on Twitch, YouTube. Follow me on Instagram, man. It's King Katumwa. We out, and peace to the collective.